Hey there, and welcome to your personalized deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Today, we're tackling anxiety and depression therapies.
A very important topic.
You sent over this really interesting article, and it is particularly relevant to the UK.
Yes.
And I have to say, it's got my brain buzzing, especially because you mentioned a UK focus. Is there a personal connection for you there, or are you just curious about their approach?
Well, I think it's a great place to start because anxiety and depression are something that touches so many lives, and finding effective treatment is absolutely crucial.
It really is.
Yeah.
And what I found fascinating about this article is just how widespread these issues are, especially in the UK.
Right.
But here's the kicker. They often show up together.
Yes.
Like a 2-for-1 deal you never wanted. Did that surprise you at all? It really hit home for me how interconnected anxiety and depression can be.
Yeah, it is the crucial point. They are distinct conditions,
Okay.
but they often coexist, making things trickier to navigate.
Right.
You might think it's one or the other, but this article sheds light on how often they intertwine, which is why understanding both is key.
Exactly. And speaking of understanding, this article doesn't just dwell on the doom and gloom. It jumps right into the therapies that can help. Let's start with the talking cure, CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay.
They present it as a bit of a rock star in the therapy world.
Yeah.
And for good reason.
Absolutely.
Right.
What's fascinating about CBT is that it tackles both anxiety and depression.
Okay.
It's like that multi-tool you never knew you needed, incredibly effective for two major players in the mental health game.
So with CBT, you're tackling two major issues with one therapy. That's huge for someone struggling with both.
Right.
But for those of us who need it broken down, what does CBT actually look like in practice?
Imagine this. You're convinced you'll bomb that presentation at work. That thought spirals into anxiety, making you avoid practicing. And what happens? You confirm your own fear.
Oh, yeah.
CBT helps you rewrite that script. You challenge the negative thought, replace it with something more balanced, which in turn can reduce your anxiety and help you actually prepare for that presentation.
It's like hitting the reset button on those automatic negative thoughts, those inner critics we all have.
Yeah.
But CBT isn't the only show in town. The article also mentions mindfulness. Now, I've dabbled in meditation apps, but what's the science behind it? Is it really as simple as breathing deeply like they tell you on those apps?
There's actually quite a bit of research backing up mindfulness.
Okay.
It's about being present in this very moment without judgment.
Right.
So instead of getting swept away by a wave of what-ifs, you're learning to simply observe them. Techniques like mindful breathing, which the article mentions, can be really effective for managing anxiety. Have you found those apps helpful in your own experience?
You know,
Yeah.
I have. It's not always easy to quiet my mind, but when I do manage to focus on my breath, even for a few minutes, it really does help.
Right.
But for someone who thrives on action and connection, I was drawn to the article section on interpersonal therapy, IPT. It focuses on the idea that our relationships can impact our mental health.
Sure.
Does that resonate with you at all?
Absolutely. IPT delves into the fact that we're social creatures. Unresolved conflicts, life changes, even the way we communicate.
Yeah.
They all contribute to our emotional well-being.
It's true.
Imagine someone struggling with social anxiety.
Right.
IPT could provide them with the tools to build healthier relationships and navigate social situations more confidently.
It's like therapy tailored to your social world. And for someone navigating the ups and downs of relationships, having those extra tools could be a game changer. But sometimes it feels like our brains need more than just tools. They need a chemical tune-up. That's where medication comes in.
You're right.
Right.
The article delves into the world of antidepressants, which can be really helpful for many people. And it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Think of it like finding the right pair of glasses.
Right.
You need the right prescription for your specific needs.
And speaking of prescriptions, the article breaks down different types of antidepressants, from SSRIs to SNRIs. It's a lot to take in. Could you shed some light on these different options? What are the key things someone should know?
Absolutely. The article mentions SSRIs, SNRIs, TCAs, and MAOIs. It sounds like a bowl of alphabet soup.
It does.
But they all work in different ways to essentially help balance brain chemicals that affect mood.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Some antidepressants are like fine-tuning your mood, while others provide a bigger boost.
Okay.
It really depends on your individual brain chemistry and what you and your doctor determine is best.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between what your brain needs and what works best for you. It's amazing how personalized mental health care can be. And it's not just about the medication itself. It's about that open communication with your doctor to find the right fit.
Right.
Speaking of finding the right fit, the article also dives into the world of anti-anxiety medications. I've heard of benzodiazepines, but it also mentions buspirone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you break down the difference?
Sure. Benzodiazepines, like Xanax or Valium, offer that rapid relief from anxiety, but they come with a caution label.
Okay.
As the article points out, there's a potential for dependence with long-term use.
Yeah.
It's like that super strong pain reliever, great for short-term relief, but not a long-term solution.
Right.
Buspirone, on the other hand, is a non-benzodiazepine option.
Okay.
So it tackles anxiety without the same risk of dependence.
So it's about weighing the benefits and risks with your doctor, short-term relief versus long-term solution.
Exactly.
It's a lot to consider, but having all the information is key. But here's where the article really resonated with me.
Yeah.
The holistic approaches.
Yeah.
I'm all about that mind-body connection. It emphasizes nutrition and exercise as key players in managing anxiety and depression. What's your take on that?
I'm right there with you. We often underestimate the power of lifestyle changes. Think of it as building a strong foundation for your mental well-being.
Okay.
The food we eat, the way we move our bodies, they all contribute to that foundation. The article specifically highlights omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and a balanced diet as key players. Leafy greens, fatty fish, they're not just delicious, they're like fuel for your brain.
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Swapping those potato chips for a handful of walnuts, I feel smarter already.
Right.
But seriously, incorporating these foods into your diet can make a real difference.
Absolutely.
What about exercise? I'll admit, when I'm feeling down, hitting the gym feels like climbing Mount Everest.
You and me both.
No?
But even the article acknowledges that when you're feeling low, even thinking about exercise can be daunting.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be a marathon.
Okay.
Even a short walk, some gentle stretching, or a bit of yoga can do wonders.
Right.
It's about moving your body in a way that feels good for you. And
Yeah.
who knows, you might even find that it boosts your mood more than you expect.
Okay, you've convinced me. Short walk it is. But here's the million-dollar question. With so many options, therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, how do you even begin to navigate this maze? It can feel overwhelming. The article touches on finding the right therapist and the different therapy formats, which feels like a whole other deep dive.
It's true. Finding the right therapist is crucial. Think of it like finding the right shoe. It needs to fit your personality, your needs, and your style. The article highlights some key things to consider, like qualifications, therapeutic approach, and that all-important feeling of connection.
Right.
It encourages you to find a therapist who feels like a good fit for you.
It's like that saying, it's not you, it's me. Sometimes it's just not the right match, and that's okay.
Right.
But once you've found the right therapist, the article delves into the different therapy formats, individual versus group, in-person versus online.
Yeah.
How do you know which one's the right fit for you?
That's where that personalized approach comes in again. Each format has its own set of advantages.
Okay.
The article presents individual therapy as a safe space for personalized exploration. You and your therapist working together to navigate your unique challenges. Then there's group therapy, which offers that incredible power of shared experience. Imagine realizing you're not alone in your struggles, connecting with others who truly understand what you're going through. That can be incredibly validating and empowering.
It's like finding your tribe,
Exactly.
a group of people who get it. It's interesting how the article presents both options, not as one being better than the other, but as different paths leading to the same destination, mental well-being. And then, of course, there's the great debate, in-person versus online therapy. It's like choosing between a classic paperback and an e-reader. Both offer the same story, but in different formats.
Exactly. The article acknowledges the benefits of both. In-person therapy offers that face-to-face connection, that feeling of being in the same room, sharing the same space.
Right.
But online therapy has really changed the game.
It has.
It's convenient, often more affordable, and accessible to people who might not have access to traditional therapy. It's like having a therapist in your pocket.
It's amazing how technology is breaking down those barriers, making mental health care more accessible than ever before. But no matter which format you choose, the key is finding what works best for your lifestyle, your comfort level, and of course, your budget. But let's say you've found your groove, you've got your therapist, maybe you're trying medication, you're embracing those lifestyle changes.
Right.
What then? Is it a case of, okay, I'm cured?
Not quite. And the article touches on this as well. It's not about reaching a finish line and saying, I'm done. It's about equipping yourself with the tools and strategies to navigate life's ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the in-between.
It's not about reaching the finish line and saying, I'm done. It's more about equipping yourself with tools and strategies
Right.
to navigate life's ups and downs,
Right.
the good, the bad, and everything in between.
Yeah.
But finding that balance often involves building a support network, friends, family, support groups, those people you can lean on when things get tough. The article highlights that as a crucial aspect of long-term management.
Absolutely. We're not meant to go through this thing called life alone. The article even mentions Mind UK as a resource for community support. It's a reminder that there are organizations out there dedicated to providing support and guidance.
There really are.
Having a solid support system is like having a safety net. It's there to catch you if you fall and to celebrate your victories with you.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, who encourage you to keep going even when it feels hard. And it's about knowing when to reach out for professional help when you need it, because let's face it, sometimes we need a little extra support.
Right.
And there's absolutely no shame in that.
Of course not.
But the article also emphasizes those self-care practices, things we can do on our own to nurture our mental well-being.
Exactly. It's about empowering yourself with tools and strategies that you can use in your daily life, even when you're not in a therapy session. The article mentions journaling,
Okay.
which can be a powerful outlet for processing emotions and gaining clarity.
That's true.
It's like having a conversation with yourself on paper, without judgment or interruption.
Right?
And then there's meditation. Finding those moments of stillness amidst the chaos.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming a Zen master.
Right.
It's about giving your mind a break, even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
I found that even setting aside a few minutes each morning to meditate or simply focus on my breath can make a huge difference in how I approach my day.
Yeah, it really can.
But sometimes self-care is as simple as establishing healthy daily routines. The article highlights this as well, emphasizing the importance of structure and predictability, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed.
Absolutely. Creating a sense of structure can be incredibly grounding. It's like setting your internal compass. It gives you a sense of direction and purpose even when things feel chaotic. Whether it's sticking to a regular sleep schedule, making time for activities you enjoy, or simply having a plan for your day. These small acts of self-care can have a ripple effect on your overall well-being.
It's about taking those small steps, those seemingly insignificant actions, and turning them into building blocks for a more balanced and fulfilling life. And what I love about this article is that it doesn't just present a rigid set of rules. It encourages you to experiment, to find what works best for you, and to be kind to yourself along the way.
Right.
It's that self-compassion that often gets overlooked, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can be so hard on ourselves, especially when we're struggling. But this article reminds us that it's okay to not be okay. It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a close friend going through a difficult time.
It's about silencing that inner critic and replacing it with a voice of encouragement and support. And speaking of support, the article wraps up by acknowledging the importance of ongoing self-care and support, even when formal therapy ends.
Exactly. Recovery isn't a one-and-done deal. It's an ongoing journey. And it's okay to need support along the way. Whether it's leaning on your support network, continuing with self-care practices, or seeking professional help when needed, the key is to prioritize your mental health and well-being.
It's about recognizing that taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. It's about investing in yourself, and there's no better investment than that. But before we wrap up this incredible deep dive, there's one more aspect of the article I want to touch on: the future of anxiety and depression treatment.
Okay.
It's a part of the article that talks about technology and its role in mental health. We've already touched on online therapy and meditation apps, but the article hints at even bigger advancements on the horizon, like VR therapy and AI. It's both fascinating and a little bit daunting to think about, you know?
I know what you mean. It feels like we're stepping into an episode of Black Mirror sometimes. But in all seriousness, the potential here is huge. This article really just scratches the surface.
Well, let's dig a little deeper then. What's your take on virtual reality therapy? The article mentioned it showing promise for PTSD and phobias. Is that the main focus right now?
It is, and for good reason. Imagine being able to work through a traumatic memory in a safe, controlled virtual environment.
Wow.
Or for someone with a debilitating phobia, like a fear of flying, they can experience takeoff and landing virtually with their therapist guiding them through it. It could be revolutionary.
That's incredible. It's like dipping your toes into reality without actually being fully immersed in it. You get to confront those fears and anxieties on your own terms, at your own pace.
Right.
But what about AI? The article mentioned AI therapists and chatbots. Are we really heading towards a future where robots are providing therapy?
It's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's already happening. We've got apps using AI to provide personalized meditations, track moods, even offer coping mechanisms in real time.
Yeah.
It's like having a virtual therapist available 24/7. But the article rightfully points out that technology is a tool,
Right?
not a replacement for human connection.
As amazing as technology can be, I think there's something irreplaceable about that human connection you get with a therapist, someone who listens, understands, and guides you with empathy and expertise. Technology can enhance that connection, make it more accessible,
Right.
but it can't replicate it entirely.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to the heart of this deep dive.
It does, doesn't it?
We've explored a whole spectrum of approaches from traditional therapies to cutting-edge technology, and it all boils down to this finding what works best for you, for your unique journey toward mental well-being.
It's about empowering yourself with knowledge, with options, with the understanding that you are not alone in this. This article really emphasizes that, and I think that's such a powerful message to leave with.
I couldn't agree more. So, to you, dear listener, we hope this deep dive has equipped you not just with information, but with a sense of hope and agency. You are the author of your own mental health journey, and we're cheering you on every step of the way. Keep asking questions, keep seeking support, and remember, you've got this. Until next time, take care.